To show how to add a jQuery slideshow to a website. Here in the code, this is just a basic website again. Again, we have the title. I've already linked the style sheet, and I've already added the jQuery file. Okay, and in the body, all I have is a header tag slideshow example. So jQuery, there's a lot of plugins or things that you can add to your websites, such as slideshows, drop-down menus, Bootstrap as an example, effects, interesting, carousels, interesting interactions that you typically can't do using just HTML and CSS. So here I have a basic website here. And inside the directory, I named it jQuery Slideshow. Again, I'll put this on the website. I just have just a style.css. I have images folder that's empty. And then within my JavaScript file, I have the jQuery 3.2.0 again. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do here, is just show you how to put in just a simple website. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Firefox. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got YouTube here. There's a lot of really good sliders out there. I'm gonna deal with stand page. I'm gonna deal with the BX slider. Just show you how to deal with that. Okay, so here I'm gonna just open up this website, and right here, as you can see, this is the BX slider. It's just images, and you can transfer through each image. And there's a lot that you can do with this simple slider. There's also other sliders, like for example the Nevo slider. Nevo, I think it's called Nevo slider. Yeah. And there's a lot of similar types of sliders. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to just deal with this BX slider for now. The first thing I'm going to do, this website here shows how to install it, how to create the HTML markup, and how to call the BX slider. I'm just going to download the files here, and I'm just going to open them up right off the bat. And it goes into my... Looks like it goes into my downloads folder. I'm just going to drag this directory to my desktop and just see what's inside of it. Okay, here we go. It looks like there's a bunch of CSS files here, and it looks like there's a bunch of CSS files, JavaScript files. There's a license README. And then it looks like there's more JS files here. One is to help fit videos into a area, and a jQuery easing. What I'm going to do with these is I am going to just open up my jQuery slideshow website here, and I am going to move the images into the images folder. Here's a loader, BX loader. If I open this up, it's just looks like it's just the wheel that turns when it's waiting to load an image. And here's controls. So I'm going to move those into my images folder. Here I'm going to take my CSS files and put them in my CSS directory. Okay. And then I'm going to take my JavaScript files and put them in my JavaScript directory. I'm going to bring the license over. And then, yeah, sure, I'll just put this right on. Okay, and then I'm just going to take these vendor files too. They may be important to this slider. I'll just bring them in the JS folder too. Okay, so I have all my my files within my website now. All my JavaScript files I need, my images I need for this. The cool part about the images is if you want different effects or different, a different loader or different controls, you can just change the images in Photoshop. And then I got the CSS that's needed for the slider. And there's the minified version, and then there's the normal version that you can change more easily. So those are all in. The next thing I'm going to do is I need to bring them all in to my actual website. So as you can see, there's instructions here how to do it. What I have already is my JavaScript file here. You can use any version of JavaScript you want. Next thing I want to do is I want to add the script for the JavaScript file for the actual slideshow. So it's JS, and I'm going to use the minified version. I'm going to see what the file name it is in here. And it looks like just jQuery bxslider.min. Okay, so I'll just bring that in. I'll copy and paste it just to make it faster. This should happen after you have the JavaScript, the jQuery file. jQuery file should happen first. And then the second thing I'm going to add is my other CSS file that relates to my slider. So link rel equals style sheet. Type is text.css/css. That was a typo there, as you saw. And the last one is href. And then this one is in my CSS directory. And then the name is, I'll just take the normal one that in case it needs to be changed. Often CSS files want to modify a little bit. Oops, and then I'll just throw it there. And I'll make this a little bit longer again, just so everything can fit. Come on. Still doesn't want to fit. Or I can make the text a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, cool. So my files are in there. I have to close this link, style sheet link here. There we go. I could tell it wasn't closed because the script was a different color. Now here in my slideshow example, and a lot of these plugins have some kind of it has instructions how to use it, and it looks like right here. Here's the HTML markup. I'm just going to take this and just put this into my body. So here, I'll just put this in first and then explain it. Here we have an unordered list. I gave it a class of a bxSlider, which is required for the JavaScript. And then I have 4 images here. Okay, and the last thing that they give me here is just I have to call the actual bxSlider. So I'm gonna just copy and put this into my code too. So first thing I need to do here is write the script. Okay, and I'm gonna close out the script. I'm going to paste this in, but I have to add one more thing here. I'm going to actually indent this too. No, I don't have to. Okay, this looks like it's fine. Okay, I'll just indent it still. Okay, so that's the basic code that I need. Okay, so one thing I forgot to do here is I forgot to put the file, the type of file in the script here. So it's jQuery 3.2 min.js and min.js here. So that's important that the file name matches the actual file. So I'm going to just save it here and see what it looks like in the browser. So I'm going to just open up Firefox really quickly, and I am going to open this file, and it is index.html, and there we go. So now we have like the basic thing. There's no images yet, since the images I'm using aren't working yet, but here is the 4 dots for the 4 images. So the next thing that I want to do with this slideshow is put in good images. So here in the example code, I'm going to just move this out of the way so my image is still there. I have to put in some good images here. So I'm going to just find something that's long and skinny. I'm going to go back to Google Images really quickly. And I'm just going to find something. Maybe I'll go with flowers again. And then one thing I want to do is let's find something with exact width and height. So maybe something like 700 by 200 height is something I want. So I'm just gonna click on it, and here's a bunch of images that are exactly the same size. This is a good thing in Google Images, that you can search for images exact same width and height. It's always good in a slideshow to have all the images exactly the same, just so it's consistent when you go through each image, so you don't have a big image and then a small image, a big image, or a tall image and short image. So I'm going to just click on and find a bunch of these. Oh, here's an image here. Good. I'll go back. I'll get another one. Here's another one. Okay. Go back. Maybe this one looks alright. We'll deal with only 3 at this point. You can have as many as you want. Okay, so there we go. I got 3 images that are all on my desktop right now. Let's close out some of these windows. All right, so I'll call this says flowers, but I'll call this flowers 1. And then the next one, I'll just rename flowers 2. And then the next one, I'm going to just rename flowers 3. And we're going to just put them all in there. Okay, so now I'm going to open up my directory, my website, and go into the images directory. And I'm just going to drag all 3 images into that folder there, okay? So all my images are in the images folder. All right, let's just get this out of the way. Okay, so now I can just change, since I'm using 3 images, I can take out 1 line here. I can just change the file paths here to what I want. So I got flowers 1, I got flowers 2, and I got flowers 3. Okay, now I'm going to save it. And now I want to see what this looks like in Firefox. Okay, so now we're getting there. Okay, so we got 1, 2, and 3. And see how it has this automatically has a swipe function? That's pretty cool. So next thing we want to do is maybe we can make this box the size that we want it. That these images are. How you would do that is you would you could put this in a div tag. In fact, you should put it in a div tag anyway. So a div class, or you could update this class to BX slider. I'm just going to put it in its own div tag here. So I'm going to just give this a class in case I want to use more than one slideshow here. I'm going to go class slideshow. Okay, and then I'll indent everything here, and then at the end I'm going to close out this div tag. There we go. So we have this class slideshow that we can give a specific width to. So how you do that is you can do that right in the style.css. So I'm going to the style.css file, and then I'm going to add. There's nothing here yet. I'm just going to add a class called slideshow. Again, classes start with a period. And then I'm going to give it a width. Width is, I know the images are 700 pixels. So there we go, width 700. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to make sure I save my index.html. And let's see how this looks in Firefox. So I'm going to just reload this. And yep, there we go. So it's the size of the slideshow here. Now I could center this if I want to. In fact, I could wrap the div tag around the slideshow example heading too if I wanted to. But now everything fits pretty well. In fact, let's see what happens if I move this div class above the slideshow examples, just so it's all in the same thing. And reload this. Yep, it just moves it down a little bit, but they're all in the same hole, same div tag. So here, I need to indent that again. And if I wanted to center this, I could just use a wrapper. So div, and I can do wrapper div ID. ID equals a wrapper. Okay, and then a div at the very end of it. The wrappers again are very useful if you want to center things. So there we go, and then I can go in my style.css, save this first, and then I'll do this before the slideshow because the wrapper kind of goes first, and that's a ID. So I'm going to give it a £, wrapper. And all wrappers, if you want to center it, is basically the same. I'm going to give it a width. And I'll give this width, I don't know. I'll give it 700 pixels too. Why not? And then a margin 0 auto. All right, and I'll save that. And I should have centered it. There we go. So my slideshow is centered, no matter what the size of the screen is. Okay, so there we go. So we got a basic slideshow example, and you can go through each one. Now, what this slideshow has, and pretty much all other slideshow has, is parameters that you can give it through jQuery. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to options. I'm going to go back to bxslider.com where I got this slideshow. Go to options, and this shows a bunch of options that I can give to it. Here we got, it's kind of small, I'll make it a little bit bigger. We got mode, it could be horizontal, vertical, a speed of the transition of each one. There's a lot of things you can do. You can make it go infinitely in a circle. There's easing, which is like acceleration, deceleration. You can add captions. Here's a video. If you want to put video in, you can go false or true here. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So here, what I'm going to do is maybe I'll start adding some of these parameters to the slideshow. So I'm going to go back to my index.html, and up on top here, what I can do is I can add things in between these parentheses up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down a little bit, and I'm going to add parameters in this area. So parameters always have to be surrounded by these curly brackets. So I'm going to do one at the top here, and one right before the parentheses. So one before the parentheses starts, and one one after the parentheses starts, and one before the parentheses end. So one thing I could do is make this auto. And this is based on the parameters that I see here, the options. So auto, I'm going to go true. And if you have more than one parameter, it just has to be separated by a comma. And usually they can appear underneath each other. Another thing I could do, instead of having this scroll action or the swipe action, I can have them fade in and out. So another thing I could do here is mode. And I'm just going to go fade. I believe fade goes in between parentheses like that. I'm going to just try this and save it. And let's just see what happens here. Okay, so I'm just waiting here. And as you can see, it's automatically going between each image here. and instead of going sliding back and forth, it's fading into each image. Now, other things that I can do, and there's many things I can do with this slideshow plugin. I can do times, how fast, here's speed, and default is 500. Let's change that. So I'm going to go back to my HTML. I'm going to another comma here. I'm going to go speed, and I'm going to just add, it's 500. Let's make it faster. Let's see if 100 works. Let's go 100. And then I'm going to go back to my slideshow. See if it goes faster. Oh, that's the speed of the transition. I see. Okay, so it's a faster transition. So if I want a slower transition, let's try a really slow transition here, 1,000. And I'm going to go back, reload this. And let's see, it's okay, so it's a slower transition. So other things I could do, so we got speed. There's going to be one, here's the start slide if you don't want to start on the first image. There we go. Other things that we can do here, let's go easing. Let's try, no, easing won't work with this current thing. So let's just see. Swipe threshold. Let's try. Let's see what auto controls does. I'm going to just put in auto controls. And I believe I have to put true in here. Let's just see. Auto controls false by default, so I'm making it true. Oh, look at it, moved things over here. Oh, but it also added clickable areas here, so you can go back and forth on the screen. I see what that does. Okay, so other things, we have a pause, amount of time in between each transition. So there's the speed. So let's try pause. So by default it's 4 seconds. Let's make this 1 second. Which is the same as the transition. So this may be interesting. Oops, I broke it. Pause 1,000. Let's just see. Let's go pause 4,000. See if that breaks it still. Yep. Is it written correctly? Looks like it's written correctly. Oh, I have a semicolon at the end. That was the problem. Okay, so now we got the pause for 4 seconds. I'll bring this down to 1 second. So 1,000. These numbers, 1,000, that refers to milliseconds. So 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. Let's see what happens here. So that's a faster transition. Well, let's see what if we do it really quickly. 1,000 or 100, a tenth of a second. So that goes a lot faster. So here you got a lot of control. What you can do here with the options. And it looks like you can do even carousels and stuff like that. So this is one jQuery slideshow here. And if I wanted to add more images to this slideshow, all I have to do is add more LIs, or list item tags here. I could add more. For example, let's go flower 2, flower 1, and flower 3. So you can make this as long as you want. If you have like 100 images, this should work just fine. You just keep on adding more images here if you want to. So there we go. So now it's going through a bunch of different images, even though it's repeating some of them. Okay, so this is basically how you use put in a slideshow, and there's many different types of slideshows. This one is very similar to a lot of them. The Nevo slideshow works the same way, and in fact, this is very similar to how a lot of jQuery plugins work. You'll have not only do you have to bring in the jQuery, but you bring in like the JavaScript for the actual plugin. But here, you'll this is where you would put parameters, and pretty much all plugins have some kind of parameters, and they go in the same way. This one's called BX Slider, but if I had a different plugin called something else, I would name it here, and then I'd go to their documentation and see what parameters that they have there. And then here for this slideshow, this is where you put all the other examples. In fact, I'm going to just try something. I want to see if I could put 2 slideshows in here just really quickly. See if this would work. Which would be really cool because you can have a whole page full of different slideshows if you want to. Yep, so you can have 2. I'm going to just try switching through, see if I can switch each of these. So they'll have different images now. Yep, so yeah, so you have a lot of control of how many slideshows you have, but what the parameters of the slideshow is. This is I'll put this code online on the website. But next thing I'll just show, maybe I'll show a couple more jQuery plugins and a couple other videos. But yeah, I'll just end it here. Put this on YouTube, and I'll make another one. All right. So take care. Bye.